Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Brendan with Evoke Bike. Yes, I'm in the parking lot in my office right now in Somerville, Tennessee. Want to share this quick video with you talking about looking at whether you have enough intensity going into your race season. And the reason this came up was I was looking at some old files from Josh and thinking about his cross season and how he's going to be preparing and racing this year. We've had a lot of discussions about last year. I felt like he was trying to do a little bit of everything: road racing, gravel racing, and using all of that to get prepared for cross, which we had talked about. Hey, this might not be the best thing. He just had commitments that he wanted to do. And then there was a point in the summer, we had started working together in late March, and I said, hey man, I just get this like dawdling vibe from you. Like there were too many days where I was, hey, I think I'm just going to go ride my mountain bike today. Hey, you know what, I'm actually going to skip that workout and just go ride endurance. And hey, I'm going to go do this like little mini group ride. And so trying to get him back on the path of, okay, well, we need you to be anaerobically stomping enough and have a big FTP if you want to race in the pro cross races. And I think getting into those races more so as his normal race made him realize, okay, I really need to be focused next year. So there's a couple things going on in this video. Number one, I went back and looked at 85% VO2 max plus week by week to tease out and just see in color where were the big chunks of harder efforts. Now, we could also use just time and zone, but to get it to color code, this was actually easy to extract from WKO. And I'm also going to be, in a future video, looking at whether we need to use like 85% VO2 max or whether we can use time and zone to extrapolate what we need on a per workout basis when we're looking, hey, was this quality or not? And I'll get into how I look at that. You know, I have a huge comparison to Gravel Worlds when I spent over 70 minutes in the VO2 max zone, but not at VO2 max power necessarily. And also, definitely, I would assume not at 85% VO2 max or higher. I want to go back and I'll make a video about that. But I wanted to explain why I was using the VO2 max percentage from WKO. I'm going to have some intervals.icu videos coming up, as you can see up there, in the future, and we'll talk about that. But take a look. Josh's FRC was a little bit bigger in 2020, but he's been telling, he's like, dude, I feel stronger across the board. And we've been doing a lot of endurance. And so the time and zone isn't super accurate to use, but the interesting thing was, if you look back at 2020 in the spring, look at all the zone one. He did have 4 hours of VO2 max time, which is a ton and maybe a little bit too much, and 2 hours of anaerobic. And then last year, we got the endurance up. We lowered the zone one, which is good. These look small, but they're still almost 2 hours and 40 minutes. And then this is really good to see. Look at all that endurance. He's becoming way more aerobic, which is what we want to see. This is partly because he's been riding Zwift a lot more and doing some crazy long rides if you follow him on Strava, but we're still getting in more time at VO2 max and a little bit more anaerobic capacity work, because we do want to shift his physiology a little bit to be a little bit more crushy. And once you start doing that, he's naturally more aerobic. If you don't keep it up, it's going to go away. But at the same point, we don't want to do it so much that he's getting roasted from it, because we're very far from race season. So just getting him used to executing those, keeping the FTP high, keeping the aerobic work rolling, becoming more efficient at that. That's why he's probably feeling stronger all across the board. And then as we get closer to race season, more crits, more XC racing, less super long gravel, still do some road races, but he's going to have to start fine-tuning that to be a little bit more anaerobic this year if he wants to race with the big dogs. So check out the video that I made for him. It's very quick, and hopefully you can use these types of thoughts and frameworks to address, hey, how did I feel this year? How did I feel that year? What do I need more of? What do I need less of? And then I look forward to posting a few different interval.icu not workouts, but how I'm going to use the program. I don't think I'm going to totally go away from WKO at first, for sure. I'd have to transfer all athletes over, and that would be a massive undertaking. I'm going to start using it on myself. My coach Tom uses it for some things. I also have been making some podcasts where I want to post links to the workouts so then you can go in and see what I'm talking about, so it can help you get better. I can't do that with WKO, and I also just don't love WKO. It's old, it's kind of slow. I think there's some new things coming out. And once I get better at going through intervals, I think it'll be really helpful because I get a lot of requests. Hey, will you take us through your WKO setup? And I've done it, I think, in the past, but I'm also, that's not really my lane. I mean, there's WKO videos out there. I think they are very long though. And WKO, more people download it and buy it and then never use it. Whereas I think intervals.icu, I'm going to ask David, who created this product, if we can get it so I can export dashboards for you. So then I can walk you through how to look through your power file, how to analyze your rides, how to make sure you're doing them right. The one thing they are missing is percentages of VO2 max power. We'll talk about that in that video. I'm going to talk to David about that in an upcoming podcast. So check out this 3-minute video. Good luck. Crush your training. Let's freaking go. Yo, Josh. So I was looking through this email, and when I was thinking about the XC racing and the hard efforts getting ready for cross season, I was starting to reply, I think the focused hard efforts will be really good from XC racing and crits. And I felt like there was a lot of noodling around midsummer last year. Then it felt like as we were rolling into the season. But I wanted to make sure before I sent that, I actually had some numbers to back it up and wanted to see what you were doing in 2020. So I highlighted wherever you had time at 85% VO2 max, 90, and 100, just to get a rough gauge of intensity that you were doing. We could get super granular on this, but trying to get just what does the quick overview kind of tell us? Purple is going to be between 10 to 20 minutes, so meaning like you had 1, maybe 2 good workouts that week. Yellow is 20 minutes or above, so either 1 super diesel workout or more than 1, probably more than 1 when you had like 48 minutes. Want to look at mainly first 6 months just to kind of get an idea. You had 41 workouts, which it almost looks maybe half and half, a few more on the purple side as I would expect in 2020. Huge dearth here. I don't know what happened. I have to go back and look at your calendar, but we weren't working together then, and then picked some up back in November. 2021, you started working with me right here, March, and this is when we started getting chunky with it. But you weren't doing, I think this was your sweet spot area. And then this became the period where I felt like there was a lot of like the dawdling and noodling around. And you can see, because there are some really low TSS weeks here. And that was midsummer. You just had a lot of stuff going on. But I wanted to point this out, then you kind of got back into it before the cross races happened. But I really think this gap was not the best thing, obviously. You only had 21 hard days or hard, we'll call these segments of efforts in those first 7 months as opposed to 41 in 2020. Then did the first cross race. So now you had 34 by the end of the year, or by the end of November, beginning of November. So then let's see, where are we on track for this year? 2022, you've already done 23. This is solid, dude. This is really solid. And I don't think it's doing too much. I think because a lot of it is at 85% VO2 max and just accumulating really good time. And I should have tallied total hours also. We could do that. But just a quick overview. I think we're on the right path. And I think we've already had the conversation of being more focused if you want to race at this next level. And so far, I would say this looks great, but we can always do better. So let's continue to think of what other small 1% gains can we make. There's some out there. Keep some thoughts coming. See you, man.